Hello everyone, welcome to the Ayajuku Speech Contest 2023. My name's Joe and I'm the English teacher here. I've been helping all the students from groups A up to G in their speeches, and I want to share some of those videos with you. Every year students from January to March practice speeches and they perform it in March. Each year students do a little bit different speeches. So last year students did it in pairs or in small groups, and the year before that then students were focused on writing interesting speeches. This year is a little bit different, so I just want to tell you about the different groups. First of all, there's 7 groups altogether. There's groups A, B, C, D, E, F and G. Okay, A is the beginner course and up to G the more advanced course. So there's group A and they are the beginner course, and their speech is about the 7 colours. Okay, so that's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple and pink. So they did a little speech about the 7 colours. Group B, they did their speech about the 4 seasons, okay, about how the seasons are all different. And then from group C up to group G, the C, D, E, F, G, they had a theme for theirs, and that was about children's story. Okay, some of them are fairy tales, old stories, some of them are newer stories from books. So group C, their speech is about the Little Red Riding Hood, which is Akazuki-chan in Japanese. Then group D, theirs was The Very Hungry Caterpillar from the famous children's story, and that's in Japanese, that's Harapeko Aomushi. Then group E did it about the 3 Little Pigs. Okay, so 3 Little Pigs in Japanese is Sanbiki no Kobuta. Then group F was Jack and the Beanstalk. Okay, so Jack and the Beanstalk is Jakuto Maminoki. And then the last class, group G, theirs was the first page of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So let's watch the videos. There's one video for each level, and this is the winner from each group. Okay, so the winner, starting with the winner from group A up to the winner from group G. So let's watch that together, and I hope you all enjoy watching it and being very impressed by the winners. But of course, everyone who took part is a winner in my eyes.
This is an apple. It is red and it is tasty. This is a ball. It is orange and it is fun. This is a sun. It is yellow and it is hot. This is a snake. It is green and it is scary. This is a sea. It is blue and it is big. This is a flower. It is purple and it is pretty. This is a bean. It is pink and it is fat.
The 4 seasons are all different. Spring is warm. The cherry blossoms are beautiful and pink. People enjoy having picnics with their friends and family. Summer is hot. It is sometimes raining and sometimes sunny. People go to the beach and swim in the sea. Everyone enjoys festivals and fireworks. Autumn is good. The leaves on the tree fall to the floor. People enjoy the changing autumn color. Winter is cold. It sometimes snows. Everything turns white. People enjoy making a snowman or having snowball fight. Christmas and New Year's are celebrated everywhere. The four seasons are all interesting.
Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a girl. She had a red cloak. Her name is Little Red Riding Hood. She is going to her grandmother's house. She walks through the forest. She sees her roof. The roof is very big. The girl says, "Hello, I'm going to my grandmother's house." The roof goes to the grandmother's house. It eats her in one bite. Oh no, the girl goes to her grandmother's house. She sees her grandmother. "You have very big eyes. You have very big ears. You have a very big mouth." The roof eats her in one bite. Oh no, a hunter comes and kills the roof. Everyone is okay.
The very hungry caterpillar. In the light of the moon, a little egg lay on a leaf. One Sunday morning, the warm sun came up, and pop out of the egg came a tiny and very hungry caterpillar. He started to look for some food. On Monday, he ate one apple, but he was still hungry. On Tuesday, he ate two pears, but he was still hungry. On Wednesday, he ate three plums, but he was still hungry. On Thursday, he ate four strawberries, but he was still hungry. On Friday, he ate five oranges, but he was still hungry. On Saturday, he ate one piece of chocolate cake, one ice cream cone, one pickle, one slice of Swiss cheese, one slice of salami, one lollipop, one piece of cherry pie, one sausage, one cupcake, and one slice of watermelon. That night, he had a stomach ache. The next day was Sunday again. The caterpillar ate through one ice cream leaf, and after that, he felt much better. Now, he wasn't hungry anymore, and he wasn't a little caterpillar anymore. He was a big fat caterpillar. He built a small house called a cocoon around himself. He stayed inside for more than 2 weeks. Then he nibbled a hole in the cocoon, pushed his way out, and he was a beautiful butterfly.
The Three Little Pigs. Once upon a time, there were three little pigs. One pig built a house of straw, while the second pig built his house with sticks. They built their houses very quickly and then sang and danced all day, because they were lazy. The third little pig worked hard all day and built his house with bricks. A big bad wolf saw the two little pigs while they danced and played and thought what juicy tender meal they will make. He chased the two pigs and they ran and hid in their houses. The big bad wolf went to the first house and huffed and puffed and blew the house down in minutes. The frightened little pig ran to the second pig's house, what was made of sticks. The big bad wolf now came to this house and huffed and puffed and blew the house down in hardly any time. Now the two little pigs were terrified and ran to the third pig's house, what was made of sticks. The big bad wolf tried to huff and puff and blow the house down, but he could not. He kept trying for hours, but the house was very strong and the little pigs were safe inside. He tried to enter through the chimney, but the third little pig boiled a big pot of water and kept it below the chimney. The wolf fell into it and died. The two little pigs now felt sorry for being so lazy. They too built their houses with bricks and lived happy ever after.
Jack and the Beanstalk. Once upon a time, there was a curious boy called Jack. He lived in a small house with his mother. They were very poor. All they had was a cow. One morning, Jack's mother told Jack to take their cow to market and sell it. On the way, Jack met a strange traveler who wanted to buy his cow. He gave Jack some magic beans for the cow. Jack was curious, so he took the beans and went back home. When Jack's mother saw the beans, she was furious because they had no cow and no money either. She threw the beans out of the window. The next morning, Jack looked out of the window, and giant beanstalk had grown. He wanted to know what was at top, so he went outside and started to climb. He climbed up the sky, through the clouds. At the top, he saw a beautiful castle. Although he was nervous, he was still curious, so he went inside and started to explore. Suddenly, a huge giant came into the castle. He had a magic hen and his arm. He told the hen to lay, and it laid golden egg. The giant put his hen in a cage and went to sleep. Jack decided he would take the hen back home. As he was walking up the door, the giant woke up and shouted at Jack to bring back his magic hen. Jack ran and started climbing down the beanstalk. The giant came down after him. Jack hurried down the beanstalk, and once on the ground, he shouted, "Mother, help!" Jack's mother took an axe and chopped down the beanstalk. The giant fell and crashed to the ground. Nobody ever saw him again. With the magic hen and golden egg, Jack and his mother didn't need to worry about money again, and lived happily ever after.
Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of Number 4 Private Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal, thank you very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious, because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. Mr. Dursley was the director of a farm called Grunnings, which made trees. He was a big beefy man with hardly any neck, although he did have a very large mustache. Mrs. Dursley was thin and blonde and had nearly twice the usual amount of neck, which came in very useful, as she spent so much of her time craning over garden fences, spying on the neighbors. The Dursleys had a small son called Dudley, and in their opinion, there was no finer boy anywhere. The Dursleys had everything they wanted, but they also had a secret, and their greatest fear was that somebody would discover it. They didn't think they could bear it if anyone found out about the Potter. Mrs. Potter was Mr. Dursley's sister, but they hadn't met for several years. In fact, Mrs. Dursley pretended she didn't have a sister because her sister and her good-for-nothing husband were as undurslyish as it was possible to be. The Dursleys shuddered to think what the neighbors would say. If the Potters arrived in the street, the Dursleys knew that the Potters had a small son too, but they had never even seen him. This boy was another good reason for keeping the Potters away. They didn't want Dudley mixing with a child like that. When Mr. and Mrs. Dudley woke up on a dreary grey Tuesday or stormy start, there was nothing about the cloudy sky outside to suggest that strange and mysterious things would soon be happening all over the country. Mr. Dursley hummed as he picked up his most boring tie for work, and Mrs. Dursley gossiped away happily as she rushed a screaming Dudley into his high chair. None of them noticed a large tiny of floater past the window.
The Three Little Pigs. Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs. One pig built a house of straw, while the second pig built his house with sticks. They built their houses very quickly, and then sang and danced all day, because they were lazy. The third little pig worked hard all day, and built his house with bricks. A big bad wolf saw the 2 little pigs. Well, they danced and played and thought, what juicy tender meals they will make. He chased the 2 pigs, and they ran and hid in their houses. The big bad wolf went to the first house, and huffed and puffed and blew the house down in minutes. The frightened little pig ran to the second pig's house that was made of sticks. The big bad wolf now came to this house, and huffed and puffed and blew the house down in hardly any time. Now the 2 little pigs were terrified and ran to the third little pig's house. That was made of bricks. The big bad wolf tried to huff and puff and blow the house down, but he could not. He kept trying for hours, but the house was very strong, and the little pigs were safe inside. He tried to enter through the chimney, but the third little pig boiled a big pot of water and kept it blew the chimney. The boy fell into it and died. The two little pigs now felt sorry for being so lazy. They to build their houses with bricks and live happily ever after.
Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal, thank you very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be involving anything strange and mysterious because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. Mr. Dursley was the director of a farm called Grannings, which made trees. He was a big beefy man with hardly any neck, although he did have a very large mustache. Mrs. Dursley was thin and blonde and had nearly twice the usual amount of neck, which came in very useful as she spent so much of her time craning over garden fences, spying on the neighbors. The Dursleys had a small son called Dudley, and in their opinion, there was no finer boy anywhere. The Dursleys had everything they wanted, but they also had a secret. And their greatest fear was that somebody would discover it. They didn't think they could bear it if anyone found out about the Potters. Mrs. Potter was Mrs. Dursley's sister, but they hadn't met for several years. In fact, Mrs. Dursley pretended she didn't have a sister, because her sister and her good-for-nothing husband were as un-Dursleyish as it was possible to be. The Dursleys shuddered to think what the neighbors would say if the Potters arrived in the street. The Dursleys knew that the Potters had a small son too, but they had never even seen him. This boy was another good reason for keeping the Potters away. They didn't want Dudley mixing with a child like that. When Mr. and Mrs. Dursley woke up on a dull grey Tuesday, our story started. There was nothing about the cloudy sky outside to suggest that strange and mysterious things would soon be happening all over the country. Mr. Dursley hummed as he picked out his most boring tie for work, and Mrs. Dursley gossiped away happily as she wrestled the screaming Dudley into his high chair. None of them noticed a large tawny owl flutter past the window.